Welcome to When Mothers Lead, a podcast created by Motherful, a soulful grassroots collective of single mothers. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Lisa.
And we will discuss how you can be a part of this movement and what the world will look like when mothers lead.
I see the mothers marching. I hear the mothers singing. I feel the mothers grieving. I see the mothers leading. I hear the mothers shouting. I see the mothers dancing. I feel the mothers healing. I see the mothers leading. I see the mothers healing.
Welcome to When Mothers Lead, a podcast sponsored by Motherful. My name is Heidi Howes.
And I'm Lisa Woodward.
Yes, and
we are co-founders.
Are co-founders of Motherful, co-directors of Motherful. And we are excited today to have our good friend and comrade and mentor, Aramis Sundiata. Aramis Sundiata of People's Justice Project here in Ohio. And I'm just going to do a welcome, Aramis. Thank you for being here and joining us and sharing yourself today. We know your time is valuable, so we are super blessed to have you with us. I just want to... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Asking.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with just sharing about Aramis. Aramis Sundiata is the founder and executive director of PJP, People's Justice Project, with almost a decade's experience of building organizations, grassroots organizing, and leading large-scale campaigns. Aramis brings a deep understanding of global social movements and has a unique outlook on how to build power in Ohio. And I also want to share a little bit about the history of People's Justice Project. And of course, going to have Aramis speak on it more. But according to your website, the People's Justice Project, during the quote unquote hot phase of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2014, when Black people were engaged in spontaneous revolt over the countless assassinations of Eric Garner, Mike Brown, John Crawford, and Tamir Rice, created favorable conditions to accelerate the dynamics of political life for the African Black working class. In analyzing the national conditions which gave birth to Black Lives Matter, the People's Justice Project reinforced and insisted on building an organization to house the energy of the African masses in Ohio in a revolutionary trajectory. People's Justice Project became a mass or popular political organization seeking to answer the ideological, philosophical, and class question from the Black Revolution of the 60s. PJP is a political organization that organizes the Black working class and other oppressed peoples, leading the struggle against all state institutions that oppress or occupy our communities, whose survival has been assured time and time again by linking our struggle to the struggle of the African working class and all oppressed people. Yes.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Pissed off.
Yes. We love it. We love it. Welcome, Aramis. Thank you. Thank you for your powerful leadership with a PJP and everything you're doing. And
so embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. It's awesome.
I think I don't know half the things that is out there, so I just think it's very embarrassing.
That's your website. That's your website. We love you. We love you. So welcome, Aramis, to the show. I wanted to start out today after your intro, just like kind of sharing how we met and how we came into being mentored by you. So I don't know if you remember, Aramis, that we met at like the Roosevelt coffee shop here in Columbus, I think it was.
It was $2.
$2. Okay, $2 radio.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'd reached out to you and this was in 2018, maybe early 2018. And Lisa and we were gearing up to kind of start the organization Motherful. And I really didn't know technically the first thing about organizing. And actually you're the one that I think introduced me to the word. In our conversation at the coffee shop, I remember you had a piece of paper and you wrote down the word organize.
Yeah.
And I was talking to you about how I wanted to do this thing with single moms, and you broke it down for me. And I don't know if you have any memory of that conversation.
Oh, I do. I do. You know, the thing about the, the idea of motherful, or like, when you came, it's always a question of like the first phase is always the idea. It's like, how do I do this thing? And then when you said it, I was like, hell yeah! Like all you gotta do is organize people, like, and see and test it and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like the ideas are the cheapest commodity on the block. And so what oftentimes like people run up against this wall where the action and also the vulnerability that comes with the process of failing or succeeding or failing and it's like circles back. That's the part where we have to get clear on like it doesn't mean shit unless you test it. And if you test it, then you will see if the idea can function in the real world. And then if it functions in the real world, you circle back from who you organize and the people you have on your team, whether it's Lisa, whether it's whoever, and you circle back to it and it keeps building quantitatively in the process. But the first phase is, hey, I have an idea. Oftentimes you'll see mugs outside like have ideas and then it becomes individuals who just want to operate individually and think their idea is going to mean anything. At some point you got to get past that, test it, and then once you create the conditions that okay, now we have something here, it can grow organically by the mass of the people who are engaged in the organization. Thus, even the change of the name. Remember, it was like Mothers in Arms, the mass of people. Then it was like nah, and then okay, go back and like, well, what can it be? Motherful. That's fire.
Right.
And now it was able. People were able to come into the organization. They motherful.
Yeah.
Now there's content. Now I got your buttons over here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the process, and it's a glorious process. I love it. Watching it develop. So yeah, but yeah, I definitely
Thank you.
I definitely.
Yeah, I would definitely say that you empowered me that day and you gave me such a spark that I think it's really like one of the major I don't know, like catalysts for us, for me in birthing Motherful. And I know Lisa has like a story of how you've supported her too.
Yeah, just your when you walk into a room, like Wu-Tang was just here last night, like just that feeling of like it's a cow, like that's how I feel like around you like it's gonna get done. And you really supported me in finding my voice, my powerful voice, to be bold and take what's mine because it's already mine, and go into these rooms and just like lay it out raw.
Yeah, because no one cares. Like we gotta get past that.
Yeah.
No one cares. Like you gotta get over yourself. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like the people are like the thing when you organize people and you're vulnerable all the time, you quickly understand that no one cares. It's a question of you. Like why do you care? What are the social conditions that are pushing you back? The opposition or the colonizer does not have that problem. So the question is, why do we have that? Why do we operate in a way that like we have to hinder our boldness and power? It makes zero sense to me because last time I checked, the African Revolution sparked all of this. So why are we sitting here pretending that we don't have power? Last time I checked, Toussaint Louverture led the revolution in Haiti. Assata Shakur led the revolution in the States. I mean, there's so many examples. Harriet Tubman, Ella Baker. We can go down the line. You think they were sitting there like, maybe that's too bold. They don't have time to think of that because their conditions were calling them to lead. So why the hell are we over here questioning what we can do?
Yeah.
That part. So you have to push the people, either it's Lisa or whomever, like, who cares? Because literally they said to us a long time ago, I think with Assata said, only thing we can lose is our chains. It's that basic. It's like, what are you going to lose?
Yeah.
How far are you willing to go? How bad do you want it? What is driving you? Where do you fit into this thing of ours? Like, what do you fit in the overall legacy of
Hmm.
struggle? That's the job of
Yeah.
organizers to push that part. And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Thank you. Thank you. We just want to give you your flowers today because of how you've
Yes.
influenced, how you've
no,
impacted our lives and our organizing. I mean, we're 5 years in now, Aramis. We are
yeah.
five
Yeah.
years in,
Hmm.
Most
and
don't last that long.
most people don't last that long. I mean, we've certainly had
Yeah.
our downs and our ups, and we're celebrating December 17th. I think this episode will be out before then. So if anybody is listening, please come to our celebration at Seventh Sun on December 17th. It's going to be a party, a birthday party, and we want you
Yeah.
there, Aramis. Yes.
I
Yes.
the corner from you.
Yeah. So we're gonna we also just kind of wanted to let you stretch out today and share about how you came into organizing work.
Hmm.
I know we had some questions that we sent you, but we'll probably be organic. But I wanted to like from the earliest point, I know you shared when we talked yesterday a little bit about your mom. And I would love to hear
Hmm.
about your mom's shaping of you and even your dad if you want to share. But we of course, because we're talking about when mothers lead, we want to know
Hmm.
how your mom's leadership has impacted you. And I know you had a couple stories to share about that.
One thing about my mother is that she she has amazing instinct. Um, I don't know where it comes, but you know, there are stories we share with each other she totally forgets about. You know what I'm saying? And like how it impacted me, like little nuances, like and so she doesn't even know she did it. And but there's this particular like so I remember like being a really little kid, like the like extremely third grade, and she didn't know this impacted me more than anything. Um, so when we were young, my mother would go to, you know, the library and get like these VHS tapes, you heard, and like sit us down and like let us watch like these VHS tapes. And some were documentaries, some were one was about pregnancy before, like I remember that. But there was this one particular one. It was named it was four VHS tapes, and it was called Eyes on the Prize. And then the first tape is about 53, you know, going into the civil rights struggle in the South. You got
Hmm.
King, you got the top guys, just imagine. But then there was this fourth tape where I remember putting it in and then watching like the beginning of recapping the last couple, and then I will never forget seeing these African people in in berets, black berets, and leather jackets, like lined up with these flags. I remember I'm little, so I have no idea what this shit is. But watching them, and it was like sea of them, right? And I could see it to this day. And hearing them say, "Black is beautiful, free Huey." And I didn't know what they were talking about. I had no idea, but it was badass to me. I'm like, who the, you know what I mean? Like, and watching like the at the time, I'm thinking as a kid, like at the time watching African people walk up the steps of the state house and like with guns and like, the passion in their voices and the afros and just like,
Hmm.
just seeing it, you know what I mean? Like, and watching them in the community with their offices and they're smoking cigarettes and chilling and talking, and
Hmm.
seeing Huey in
Hmm.
jail and how I didn't know what he was saying, but whatever he was saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, hit me to the core. I remember
Right.
seeing Angela Davis in the film, smoking a cigarette
Hmm.
in jail. It was like blue. It was, you know what I mean? Like, I remember vividly.
Mm.
And that was the beginning of the path where I circle back to all the
Mm.
time because that was my mom's. My mother, my first book report my mother gave me to do in school was Harriet Tubman. And so I remember that was my first book I ever read. You know what I mean? And then all the way through my studies, and it was, she cared so much. And she really was like just being a good mom.
Mm-hmm.
And like anything I was interested in, she would do it 10 times. Like, it could be
Yeah.
basketball, it could be guitar, it could be hip hop, it could be whatever. She's helping me figure it out. And so
Nice.
once I got to the academy, I was on probation, and couldn't drive, you know how it is. And so I was in my courses, and I met my professor, and she was driving me to the community to be with my professor. I was on probation. Her and my father, they were like, something going on with him because he wouldn't need to go over there, but something over there about Africa. You know what I mean? And then like,
What grade was this?
no, I was in undergrad, so that was in.
Okay.
And so like I'm in college now, and so like they're still coming to pick me up.
Got it.
My mom's and my father. I would go to their house, boom, I'm on probation, and they would drive me to the extension center, drop me off, and I'll be there with my professor and all the people that were doing the Africa stuff. And why I'm saying that is because they would tell me, we didn't know what was going on with you, but we knew we had to get you there. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause all
Yeah.
you talk about was materialism and Africa, and we didn't know what you're talking about. We knew you had to get it. You know what I'm saying? So like the support of my moms and my father like transcends. I mean, like it is when you get older and you step back and think about the sacrifices they had to make, especially during the
Yeah.
time. You're like, my God, like I'm
Yeah.
lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And they understand your path and everything.
Yeah, something. It was something that they just knew.
Yeah.
Him and my mother knew we had to get him there. Whatever's over there, he's going to take it. And that's kind of like how my mom's really impacted me. I mean, she doesn't really care. She just knows I'm safe in doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
But she came to her first demonstration a couple of weeks back with Taika Young, and they never seen the work. So like, imagine seeing your family there, your parents, and you've been doing it for a decade, and they're there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like
Wow.
they saw the community. They saw like what I always talk about, and they're like, Miss Cara was like, someone's coming out, Miss Cara, Carla, and I get into PJP mode. I'm like, so I even told him before we left, I was like, when you see me, this is how the people see me. So I have to do this. You know what I mean? I'm your son here, but over there, certain things. So boom. So we're there, Miss Carla's getting antagonized by reactionary force, and I step in like, you better pull back because all her sons are here. You touch her, like we're ready to go. You know what I mean? Right now. And so to watch my mother have a sign and do a little march, and then now she's with the sign and she's all over the internet. And my dad, he's there. My dad was a preacher guy, so he's doing all the, go on ahead. And I'm looking like, my dad's that guy. Oh my God. It's like he's that dude at the protest, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And to watch them be there and see not only the community, but also what their son does.
Yeah.
And I'm explaining to them what's actually happening in the background. Like, you have no idea the security here. No, I'm talking to people on my text. You don't know that we saw the guy coming 10 minutes before. We know where the cops are. So they don't know all these things. And I said to him, I was like, Dad, like, Mom, like, you're community members. Our job is to make sure you're safe. And our job is also the next step. I'm not thinking about this part. I'm thinking about the next phase. And so, but that was glorious for them to see that, you know what I mean? And it was interesting. I felt like a kid again because I was like, it was my mom's, y'all. I was like, oh, that's your son. Your house sisters be like, oh, he's such a good boy. Great young. He is leading the community. He should be so proud. And watch they face, I've never experienced such a fulfilled moment. Like, did all right. Like, this is what we do. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's awesome. So glad they made it.
Yeah, I mean, and they were at the house, so like they're here, and so like, just watch my mom's reaction to Sister Young being murdered and watch my family, I'm like,
Hmm.
y'all want to come? They were like,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, he's like, of course, I want to be
Yeah.
there. Because that was a safe one. Because back in the day, it wasn't safe for them. You know what I mean? It's a little bit
Yeah.
different than it used to be. Like, remember back in the day when they would have the pigs roll up on you and,
Hmm.
and I would never let it come. Like, no. Because someone tells my
Yeah.
mother, rap for you. Like, it's literally, like,
Hmm.
I get chills thinking about what I
Yeah.
would do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my mom's be. Love it.
Beautiful. Yeah, we love her. We love her too. Thanks to your mom. Give thanks for your parents and
Yes, thank you.
their
Yeah.
amazing education. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's oftentimes I like sit back and I watch like I'm a historian, I'm a historian, so I'm thinking about the time period. I'm thinking about what they would do, and I'm like, I don't care about nobody that you know what I'm saying
Mm.
to be able to sacrifice and make decisions as a married couple, and then make decisions and
Mhm.
invest so much in the hope that your children, your child, or as a sister, I have a sister that will at
Mhm.
least make it through. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And to watch, to know that, damn, like you did the damn thing. I remember buying my mother groceries for the first time. Like, yo, ma, this is sorry for when I was 16. I'm buying you some groceries. I'm sorry, I pay that. You know what I mean? Like it was like it was like a forgiveness period. Like, ooh, I got the money for it, ma. This is for that one time when I got arrested. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I didn't mean to put you through that. But it
Yeah.
stood by us, me in particular.
Well, I wonder if they realized they were raising a revolutionary.
No, they had
Um,
no fucking idea. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
But they will tell you. I had no idea. My mother told me recently. She said, "I had no idea you'd be so into history. If you would told me that you would, read books,
Yeah.
or like be who you became, I would have never known.
hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was already instilled in you.
Hmm.
Those type of determination and those type of things that I honestly feel that like it's just who you are, and you just have to
Hmm.
find the niche to get there. And without them,
Mhm.
I don't know if I would have found it. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's in
Hmm.
you. It's in us who are like
Hmm.
myself. I'm around them all the time, so we're all the same
Hmm.
person. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
national spaces, like we all are the same person. You just have to find them.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
so
Well, I have a question for you that you probably haven't been asked before. Because I know you and I had the like honor of officiating your wedding. And
Aw.
I'm now you're a dad. You're a dad now. And I'm curious about your thoughts on caregiving, because I know that you're a primary caregiver now in a lot of ways for your son, Marky. And I was wondering if you could share like how caregiving has like impacted your work and like how you view caregiving now, because obviously we are, invested in revolutionizing care
Yeah.
and maternal justice and care justice in our work.
Right.
So,
Plus, you don't sleep, so.
so it wasn't hard. I mean, remember that one time I texted you, Hottie? Like, I have full respect for stay at home mothers. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? But like, to be very transparent, it wasn't hard. It wasn't a choice. It was like, this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what
Mhm.
I don't do a lot of thinking through it. You know what I mean? It was more so. Remember, people talk about balance, stuff like that. It was
Mhm.
really like committing to, okay, y'all are in the house with me. Mark's here. I'm the
mhm.
only one here that has goddamn sense. So this is what you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
what
yeah,
we're not going to do is interrupt what we're doing as an organization. You know what I'm saying? So now
yeah,
all of y'all are by de facto PJP. You know what I'm saying? So like, so I mean, it was really like, and so you got comfortable with the morning routine. I'm a routine guy, so like, okay, I feed you.
Mhm.
You get the great man. When I realized what cereal they were eating, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not giving this kid this type of calories and sugar every day. Are you crazy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you tap in. You're like, man, I can cook now. So I'm making eggs, the Johns. You know what I'm saying? I eat breakfast. You go eat breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I structure. So like Mark has his things, and so you have to just get to learn him.
Hmm.
But also, I'm really
Mhm.
good with young kids, so it's not hard for me to tap there.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But it really didn't necessarily sacrifice the work. I mean, like when COVID was over, like I don't know how many times Mark went to meetings. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like probably both running out, and he just knew, like, okay, I'm with B, and we're in the meeting, and everyone knows Mark, and so like he would come on calls and he'll peek his head and say hi to everybody. I mean, it was me accepting that you have to invest. It's not difficult to make this decision to invest in young people when they have no idea how to function. Does it make sense? It's like
Hmm.
Mhm.
Mark is special needs, so like you have to see him, you have to know what he's doing,
Mhm.
you have to be hyper aware, and
Right.
and then just be just a good person. You know what I mean? Like just
Mhm.
and be honestly,
Compassion.
yeah, compared to and honestly, it's not that deep. Like it's like he had his moments, and like so what? He broke something, and but they're not used to the calmness of me because they're used to like, oh my
Mhm.
god, he broke something. I'm like,
Yeah.
he breaks TVs. Stop pissing him off. You know what I'm saying? Like, come here,
Yeah.
Mark. Good. Yes. Okay, we're done. We're done. We can buy another TV. Like, it's not a big deal. And so I don't respond to his behavior because I've been trained as a teacher. So it's like he's going to do things.
Mhm.
You have to have structure. You have to see him. You have to hear what he's saying. You have to be able to understand what he needs. And so,
Mhm.
as opposed to raising your voice, he responds to it. Um, it's not. It's not. I'm just calm about it. I don't
Mhm.
take it that deep. It's like, man, he needs hungry. If he's hungry, he's hungry. If he don't want to eat, he don't want to eat. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna force it down his throat. Like he
Mhm.
had an episode a couple weeks ago when he passed out and like popped in and like took care of everything, called 911, boom, took him to the hospital, boom, he's fine, right? And and
Mhm.
my position was like he just passed out, but everyone
Mhm.
else thinking like it's like this grandiose thing, but I've seen kids pass out. And so it's like,
Mhm.
okay, we put him in the hospital, he's going to do the CAT scans, nothing's wrong with him. He just passed out. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? And so he's running around doing the regular thing. But
Yeah.
he does come to me first for everything. I guarantee you. If something happens, he's in my room. B.
That's amazing. That's hard for moms to be that, just not like adding in your emotions and just being calm all the time. That takes skill. That
It's
takes
just
skill.
like, but I
It's a
think
dad thing.
yeah, and that's probably what it is. Like nigga, it's fine. You know, like
Yeah.
you will survive.
Yeah.
Did he die? You know what I mean? Like he bit his hand or he tripped. Okay, did he die though? He's fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not like, I'm not saying like, I like when he falls, boom, 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 boom. You can differentiate the falls.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, and he's like, you good? We good. All right, and wrap. But like a certain fall is like boom, 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 boom. It's like, okay, are you running to take the fall downstairs? Like, you good? Yeah. Oh, that's just my kettlebell falling down the stairs. You just picked up.
Okay.
So, so it's really about like what I did because I know you're going to pick up that kettlebell because you see me working out with it. So you're going to try and swing it. So I got to like
Mm.
fix that part. You know what I mean? So it's a learning process, of course. But to answer your question, it wasn't that difficult. There are moments I'm like, oh my God, Mark. But then you're like, have a seat, have a call. Like right now, I'm on a podcast. Can you be a good boy? Yes. He's on the couch sitting there with the side pod. And
Hmm.
once I open the door, he knows, oh, he's free. You know what I mean? So,
So you find a good balance with it, it sounds like.
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't hinder my development in the organization. Like that's always primary. So it's like if that's primary, you have to be able to understand about yourself
Mm-hmm.
and and make a decision and say like, well, I know I'm not going to do this, so you're just coming with me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to lead. I have to do these things, and this is uniquely me. So
Mm-hmm.
you have none of the children in the house have any clue. Um, However, because it's a primary thing of mine, you're just coming along for the ride. There's no sacrifices. It's like you're coming. We'll have a dentist appointment. Well, we're going to go to the meeting, and then you're going to go to the dentist appointment. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a call. I have to make sure this happens. Schedule it. And you
Mm-hmm.
schedule it all day. Well, guess what? Tough luck. You know, just
Boundaries.
next day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to happen ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's been
Yeah.
it's been really cool to see you as a dad, to see you become a dad and be a dad.
And honestly, I'm proud of all of them. Like, you know, the kids got their cars, and that's a new phase. Because like now I'm like worried because they have these sweet like muscle cars, and you're like, oh my god, I'm a car guy. So I'm like, they really like this stuff. And then so now you have a good sense of what fathers feel about their sons being black and being in cars. And you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, we're just gonna see what happens when it happens. You know what I mean? Like I can't stop it. You know, and you're watching them like be responsible and like doing paying bills. That phase, or like when you have little girlfriends, that is the craziest. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that part, like I will that alone is enough for me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, oh, you like it? You really like it? Like one time, Dorian like wanted to buy his girlfriend flowers, right? And he comes up to me. And I didn't know what was going on. I'm just sitting there. He gives me his phone, like, how do I do this? He showed me these bouquets. I'm like, oh, one right there. I'm like, yo, come here. I was like, yo, how much do you like? He was like, probably like, okay, look. Now I'm scrolling through it. Never go wrong with that one. You know? And then he was like, okay, so what do? We ship it over there, boom, boom, boom. Let's go get some like, things and stuff. And it was like, and I said to him, I was like, yo, do you have a hoodie? He was like, yeah, I have a hoodie. Which one are you willing to sacrifice for? He's like, what's one? I'm like, nah, that's to get that one right there. Boom. Folded it up, put your smell good on it. All right, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're good, bro. Those things.
I love
man,
it.
that stuff gives me so much. Like it's like,
Aw.
Oh,
Such
yeah.
a sweet daddy.
how do I do this? Oh, the question hair.
Wow.
But it's just very like fun. I enjoy it. Anyway, I can go all day, so let's change the subject.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think we're getting some prime moments, some prime
Prime.
Aramis moments here.
Yeah. What's up with PJP? What are you guys doing currently? And how can everyone that's listening support?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, subscribe, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the whole John. It's just a glorious phase of PJP. I'm just proud of the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing. Like, remember you talking earlier about vision and like ideas and then like the process of it all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the practice. I enjoy like waking up and like getting to it. You know what I mean? And studying, like really trying to break down these things and concepts, whatever. And then when you are vulnerable and honest with folks, like they come in and you give them, you provide. I don't care what you do. This is the fundamentals. You are talented. Go. You know what I'm saying? My only role is to manage it and make sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you can be the most powerful leader. That's from operations, that's from comms, that's from organizing, that's from the bases. It's like when you watch people believe in something, that is a symbol, like the logo or the history of the organization, and watch them, own it. You never get tired of the we part in staff calls. You never get tired of the questions. You know what I mean? Like, how do we
Yeah.
do that? How do we make this better? You never get tired of that.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
so where we are right now is just a fundamental, glorious development where we are exactly where we need to be with our state partners, our national partners. Like, it's just you put in so much work, so much struggle,
Hmm.
and answering questions of like what happened in past times or examining conditions, and then you watch people come in. Like the wild thing, Heidi, I'll tell you this, and Lisa, is when you watch leaders do a training that you created and they're saying your words.
Mm.
And you're like, you have no idea I wrote that with a long beard with a vodka bottle next to me, like with books everywhere. You know what I mean? Like like or like Reese cups, like just down and stuff like you know what I'm saying? Like you have no idea that like I was sitting at a table with like cigarettes and butts everywhere and like just writing that and you are reading it and you're able to take the pieces of study and then make it your own and say it out loud in your own experiences. That part I was not prepared for. And so it's really about like making sure that we're doing what makes sense with the bases and the masses that we're with, as opposed to coercing people into things. Like I am so intentional about that. You know, who are our partners? Who do we work with? Like who do we talk to? Like who is who? And then watching them assess it by themselves and say, you're right, they're like this, or we should close ranks now. You know what I mean? Discipline indeed as well. Like we had a staff call yesterday and I'm emphasizing discipline and what it looks like. And I said to them, like, you're not going, I don't expect you or anybody on staff to be as disciplined as I am, you know.
Mhm.
However, people in our ecosystem and people in the state and national see us a certain way. We have to
Mhm.
show up that way, and everyone on team, on the squad is that, period, or you wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So you
Mhm.
own that like I think one of our leaders staff said, something about turnout. And I said to the bull, I was like, look, you're a 40 to 30 turnout person. Don't ever take that away. Like, don't say 10 or 5. I've
Mhm.
seen you turn out 40, 50, own that. You need to
Mhm.
walk because we in spaces see you that way. You know what I'm saying? Like they will see you as the organization. Also individually, you were able to move masses of people.
Mhm.
So when you say a number that doesn't match what the material world sees, what are you actually thinking in your head about your own leadership? Because I know what you can do. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Want to be here. Not saying that I not saying that I see you. Don't think that you are less than who you really are. They're pushing that forward,
Constantly
owning,
encouraging,
yeah,
empowering.
owning it.
Yeah.
It's like, please, like
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
True leader.
Yeah. So I'm curious about your thoughts on Motherful at our fifth birthday. Like
Yeah.
just to give you a little update in case you're not, following us super closely. We are on the precipice of some big developments that are really exciting for us. We have probably around 500 members now in our collective.
Yeah.
And, we've touched over 500, single mother families who have agreed to our membership, and we're
Yeah,
feeding
awesome.
75, we're
Yeah,
feeding 75 families a week. We're giving
Food
cash
pantry.
to moms, in
Cash.
helping them, over $100,000 in the past 4 years. It's probably more than that now.
Loans.
we just started a micro lending program. So one of our donors seeded that for us. And so we were able to give moms who are in the
Yeah.
collective for over a year a 0% interest loan. And
Yes.
we have our emergency fund grants. So we're really creating like this like micro economy that's an alternative economy for our members. And we just submitted a grant yesterday on a collaborative effort with another
Yes.
nonprofit in town to build out one of our social enterprise ideas, which is a meal
Me-
preparation, like a prepared meal service
Yeah.
that would
Moms
give
don't want
moms
to cook.
prepared meals because they don't have time, right?
Yeah, they don't
And
have time.
so
Drop that
they're
off.
working 2 to 3 jobs. Single moms are really
Yeah.
struggle with that, and also the
Mm-hmm.
food costs are
Mm-hmm.
so expensive. So we're working on that,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
also we're
We're
developing.
juicing.
We're juicing our we have all kinds of
Yeah.
little offshoot projects, and we're also working on a housing project, a housing development with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the contract phase yet, but that's what we're developing, and hopefully we'll break grounds in 2025 if everything goes well. So, we have a lot of things happening, and I'm actually going to DC next week with Moms Rising. I'm an Ohio delegate for the organization Moms Rising. We're going to the White House to advocate for moms. And,
Yes.
I'm really excited about that. So I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
curious
Mm-hmm.
about like what you see. What's your vision for Motherful,
Yeah.
and what do you see and what kind of ideas do you have for us or
Give us some
encouragement?
ideas.
Just saying,
Boost us.
I need to catch it. I need, I'm slowing down. The hell? No, that is courageous work. And
Yeah, thank you.
want to go back to the first question. You have to believe. Like you gotta
Mm-hmm.
go hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you gotta go no matter what trials and tribulations are in front of you. Because the struggle is beautiful, but the struggle, no one said the struggle is easy. You know,
No.
those who decide to take a risk and do the things and like what that takes, I mean, that's a different type of person
Mm-hmm.
that
On the ground.
on the
Hmm.
ground doing it like I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I have to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. I don't know where it's going, but like this is fire to me and like I gotta go,
Hmm.
And so you must commend your own leadership, your own vision, all three of y'all, two of y'all, whatever's in the crew. And because that need even with I was in a meeting recently where they were talking about needs and things. It was like, why aren't y'all hit on Motherful? They were like, oh, we didn't think about that. Why haven't y'all thought about that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like, but then I'm realizing, oh, I'm the only person that knows Motherful in this group.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
how do we what's that
Hmm.
word that the new intellectuals always say? Intersections. Like how do we use the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
of the struggle? Because I think we have to be more intentional about like who's in the ecosystem. 'Cause we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
in like PJP and other orgs are like in the political arena. We're thinking
Yeah.
about that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then we're
Hmm.
Yeah.
not thinking about when we organize people who are coming into organization, who are through the ground and need basic things, they ask for things because there's a new
Hmm.
culture. But this is another thing I found is that there's a new culture now
Mm-hmm.
where there is a thing called mutual aid. There's a thing about like
Yep.
providing needs. Like when we came into the game, that didn't exist. It was like we're
Mm.
catching bodies, we're building power, we're taking to the
Hmm.
man, like all that capitalism. You know what I mean? All that fire. It was like
Right.
we're catching bodies. There
Hmm.
was never a thought of like helping people. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think now the culture has shifted. This is not just only in the cities, this is in the state and also
Hmm.
national, where we have to begin to think about how do we plug in those
Hmm.
who are in organization, who
Hmm.
fight for these things, who struggle for these things, and how
Yeah.
do we move them to the
Hmm.
other orgs
Direct
like
services, mutual
yeah,
aid. Hmm.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Like why isn't that a
A
flow?
thing.
Like why isn't
Yeah.
that?
Right.
And I think in time, I think we're getting there because I think we're
Hmm.
all
Yeah.
Motherful, PJP, other orgs included. Like we're getting to the
Hmm.
phase we're closing in and saying and
Yes.
more relationships where it's like, okay, now we have
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
who's really
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Who's really in community with us? Who can really throw down outside
Hmm.
of outside of the political arena?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Outside
Yeah.
of
And
the
we And we definitely want to bring mothers into the political arena. That is one of our goals too, is to empower mothers to lead. And that's what this podcast is about.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is about, yes, it's about when mothers lead, what will the world look like? And I think we're working on, if moms can't eat, if moms can't take care of their children, they're going to have a harder time getting active in the political arena, right? And like
Yeah.
going out to protest if they don't feel safe, or if they don't have anyone to watch their children, or they can't
Or
bring their
wash
kids
their
with them,
clothes.
or
We're
wash
gonna
their
help them.
clothes. So we are a mutual aid organization, and we focused on that because we know how disenfranchised single mothers are, especially Black and Indigenous and mothers of color. We know how disenfranchised they are, the working class single moms, poor single moms. And so we know that if they're eating, if they're housed, if their children are safe, then they can also be empowered
To step
to
out. Mm-hmm.
to lead, and they're already leading their families. They already are leaders. That's our philosophy and stance. And I'm curious about your thoughts, and this is kind of our final question of our podcast. At every episode, we ask
Everyone.
our guest, like, what will the world look like when the mothers lead? Like, what do you see?
What do you see?
It is not. I never thought about the mother part till you guys came around, about like how most of the most dynamic leaders in struggle are mothers and women who like
Yeah.
we admire, like. And so like I examine that piece a lot. I remember like, telling someone like, well, 80% of the struggle, if you go into any of these rooms where I'm at, my dad was even surprised when I said this. It was like, when I go in these rooms, there's no brothers there. It is mostly sisters, trans, queer, or just regular straight sisters from the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Who are just badass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like Dawn and Chelsea, people who I really look up to in international spaces. People in Chicago, and they're all women. So like, don't ever
Yeah.
get confused that in the real world, it is women who have children who are in the rooms with PJP. And so I don't know what it looks like, but I know they're leading anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's no, it's not a concept that I don't see. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like
It's happening.
everywhere I go, everywhere I go, whether it's Chicago, it is me anywhere. It is majority women sitting in those chairs who are running their cities. I'm talking like, not just like on some like basic shit. I'm talking like, you come into North Carolina, you got to talk to Dawn. You know what I mean? You can't come into the state without hollering at Dawn. You deal with people in Virginia with marijuana stuff. You got to talk to Chelsea, full stop. You know, and then you go to LA. You know what I mean? You got to talk to these people. So you can't. So in my actual real reality of the work that we do,
Mothers are already leading.
they're already
Yeah.
there. It's like, it's not confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, but the
Right.
arrogance, if you're arrogant and you're ignorant, you will think that like there's brothers doing it. It's like, nah. Like, that is what the bourgeoisie media pushes out you. You know what I mean? The so-called Negro leader. You know what I mean? The so-called petty bourgeoisie leader, who has credentials. The rooms I'm in, these people have credentials, but they're solid in the struggle for the people. And they all have children. And that's just my own perspective of saying that, like, I am like more than aware that I have to follow the leadership of the sisters, period. Like, and I give you sort of like recently, this is like, I'm just a sidebar, like recently, this has actually happened. Like, we are in Chicago, right? With the national people, and we're in the building, and these so-called trainers come in, and you could smell the bitching. You know what I mean? You were like, uh-oh. Because they didn't know they walked in the room of the revolution. So, like, they walk in, and they're doing their training or whatever, and then the sisters are in there. It's like me and everyone in there. Zakia's in there. And they're on the back talking to me, and I'm talking to them, and they're like, this is bullshit. And then there was a pushback were from one of the comrades, Chelsea. She's like pushed back on trainers, and he kind of dismissed her. And I've been black all my life, and don't dismiss sisters. And then like they're gonna close ranks. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you just fucked up, bro. Like, and so long story short, it got to a point when it got to critical mass where they started dismissing Alicia, who was in Chicago, who's doing dope work. And then she started crying, and then it went down. And so as soon as the sisters closed ranks, I'm talking, they went in on dude. And all the trainers, and mind you, they run their cities. So like they're coming in like that. You know, I run my shit. Like the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as that's going, one of the comrades, Brittany, texted me because they said something about history. He said, get him. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to. Yo, get him. You know what I'm saying? All right. And I'm like, no, let's properly understand. You know what I mean? I started going off, and I basically said, to disrespect the people in this room shows you don't understand who's in the room. You know, right there is Chelsea. Essentially, she's Ella Baker. Right there was Dawn. She's essentially a child school. Right there was so and so. She's I went down a line of sisters that I knew off top. I was like,
Right.
who they represent. And it's like, so before you come in here, know that we are a direct lineage of these same people. And so that means that you have to respect, because our foremothers are those same people. And once that was said, they stopped the training, and we all went back to the hotel, and now people are looking for new jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like that. It was like, you don't disrespect the sisters, and what happens is that African people will close rank immediately. And then if you're a brother, you know that like and you understand all their brothers are in the room. And so it's like, we run our cities too. Our donors are fine with us beating your ass. You know what I'm saying? Right here. You know what I'm saying? We're good. You know what I'm saying? So we can do it right now. And we got bail funds. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
And we have a bail fund.
And understanding where you're in. So all that to say, in these spaces I'm in, the women, the sisters, the mothers run it. The struggle and where we are with PJP is ran by sisters, period.
Nice.
You're not seeing them on
Love it.
television, but that's who you got to talk to.
And mic drop. Love it.
Yeah,
Bam.
I'm not even playing. Like, like, you know where you at. Like, you know what's going on. You know what I mean?
That's encouraging. Thank you so much, Aramis, for joining us today. We love you. We support you. Everybody go check out ohiopjp.org. Is that right?
You.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
People's Justice on Instagram, correct?
Yeah.
So at People's Justice, and support. I know October is a big month. This will probably come out after October, but check out what they've been up to, building power. And we love you, Aramis. Thank you for all of your leadership and support and mentorship of us.
No, thank
Love you.
Thank you for inviting us to this discussion.
Yes.
Forever forward, unafraid together.
Forever forward, unafraid together.
Yes.
Together.
I see the mothers marching. I hear the mothers singing. I feel the mothers grieving. I see the mothers leading. I hear the mothers shouting. I see the mothers dancing. I feel the mothers healing. I see the mothers